What's up everyone, I'm Calamontos, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some absolutely insane battles in the Fossil Cup, running a triple rock team. Now, out of context that doesn't seem very impressive. You might be thinking, well, all fossils are rock types, so why is that impressive? But the thing is, Niantic decided to add water and steel to the meta, which typically both beat rock types as they're both super effective. So it kind of pushes rock types out of the meta. Even though it's a Fossil Cup, that's literally the name of the cup, which is kind of disappointing because rock types already don't have much play in most GBL metas, but in a Fossil Cup, this was their one chance to shine, but a lot of the steels and water types are going to be completely dominant in this meta. But I thought, you know what, let's just try and run a triple rock type team, and to my surprise this team actually did insanely well for me, and you are going to see some of the craziest games you've ever seen in this video. I'm going to be showing two sets where I went 4-1 in both sets. These were my first two sets, and after these sets the game kind of pooped out, and I'm sure you've seen on Twitter, in Twitch streams, the game has been so buggy and glitchy. And talking about glitches, let's move on to today's question of the day. What is the funniest or most unique glitch you've experienced yourself in GBL? Let me know in the comment section below, because I really want to have a laugh because the game has been so bad recently, and you might also get a shout out in my next GBL video. So once again, let me know what is the funniest or most unique glitch you've experienced in GBL. And with that being said, let's move on to the team and talk about why I chose these three rock types. So the team is going to function as an ABB style team. We've got Cradily in the lead. It's going to be able to beat those water types, which make up for half of the meta. And then we've got two Pokemon in the back that should typically beat steel types, although there are some steel types that are going to be able to do fairly well against them. So we've got Lycanroc as the save swap, and actually Lycanroc can flip switch advantage against Pokemon like Shadow Swampert, especially when they don't shield the first Psychic Fangs, because we can just counter them down or win out the 2-shield scenario if that's what they want to do. And that means that we can then align our Cradily to whatever water type they might have in the back, and a Incinerate Magcargo does really well against a lot of the Pokemon in the meta like Escavalier, Ferrothorn, Registeel, a lot of the Pokemon that typically don't have very strong counters. Magcargo is the only fire type in this meta, so it is really strong against those Pokemon, but of course it is double weak to ground and water, so it needs to stay clear of the Mud Boys. But yeah, that's the idea behind the team. It actually functions really well. There are some core breakers to the team, of course, because we're running a triple rock team. So counter, for example, from Lucario, going to go through this team very, very easily. But we do have the Incinerates and the counter from our own Lycanroc to hit for heavy super effective damage as well. And on top of that, I'm running Bulldoze on my Cradily just in case a Lucario switches in at a random point in time and I can land a Bulldoze. That's going to do a lot of damage to Lucario. But with that being said, let's just get into the battles now. Alright, so we're entering the first battle here. We lead Cradily into Ferrothorn, not a good lead. I'm going to instantly switch into the Lycanroc, and I'm met with a Shadow Swampert, so the bait is working perfectly right now. I'm going to go for the Psychic Fangs, they let it go through, and now I'm going to be able to flip switch advantage here. I'm going to shield this up, and I'm actually going to go for a Psychic Fangs instantly, and I get to it here. This might have been a CMP with the Swampert, and either they shield it, but they don't shield it, and now I'm able to flip switch advantage. They come in with a Quagsire, so I'm going to be able to get to a crunch here, and this will do quite a lot of neutral damage to the Quagsire. And it lands, it does a decent amount, and we get the defense drop, so things are looking great for us. The Quagsire is forced to throw, otherwise they risk getting countered down themselves. They come in with the Ferrothorn, so I can come in with my Magcargo, and now I can let this Power Whip go through, go for one more Incinerate, go for a Rock Tomb. I don't expect them to shield, but on the odd chance that they do shield up, then I'm going to lower their attack, meaning that another Power Whip will not take me out. And it doesn't, and now my Magcargo goes down here, but things are fine. All I have to do is shield once. This Quagsire isn't going to be able to get to two moves, so I shield up the Stone Edge, and the Bullet Seed goes through, so I'm able to take that game after flipping switch advantage there against the Shadow Swampert with my Lycanroc. So things worked perfectly in game one. Unfortunately, Escavalier, another core breaker. Lycanroc does also lose to the Escavalier, but hopefully we can get a shield here. And I'm actually able to get a shield, and that is perfect, so I'm going to let this move go through. And it's actually an acid spray, so I get some extra counter damage on the Escavalier here. I'm going to bring in the Magcargo after waiting out the switch clock. One Incinerate nearly takes them out. They dip, and I think they probably have a charge move here, but that is absolutely fine. Excuse me, I just burped there. But we're going to come in with the Cradily here, and we don't have to shield anything. We did lower the attack with the Rock Tombs, and also they let it go through, so I can just fully farm them down with the Bullet Seed here. Actually, I did shield that up just because I don't know what is in the back. I'm going for a Grass Knot. It's a Jellicent, so things are looking good for us. I land it. I'm going for another Grass Knot here, and this should get the final shield from my opponent, and they're going to get to a charge move here. I'm actually going to shield this up. I expect them to switch out instantly, and they do, and they're going to get to a charge move, but that is fine. I can come in with my Magcargo. Actually, that doesn't even take us out. I switch into the Magcargo, and I'm going to be able to get to a Rock Tomb here before they can get to another Shadow Ball, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Escavalier, very difficult for me to deal with, but I was able to take it out anyway. So into the next game, we lead into a Pelipper. Now you think with a triple rock type team, we should be able to comfortably beat some flying type Pokemon, but Pelipper's actually kind of tough to deal with because this Cradily is actually taking neutral damage from everything that Pelipper throws, and Cradily is fairly tanky, so we do tank that. I'm going to shield up this move and then go for another Grass Knot after one more Bullet Seed, and this will either get the final shield or take them fairly low, and we do get the final shield, and now I'm happy to let the Cradily go down. Hopefully they don't have another water type in the back, but if they do, I'm going to try to align it with the Lycanroc, and they actually switch into it, so that is perfect. And Lantern, very tanky, but not going to be able to get to the Hydro Pump very quickly. I'm actually going to shield this up. I know it's a Thunderbolt, but I'm going to shield it up anyway, and then eventually go for a Crunch here, and this should be taking out the Lantern because I have debuffed its defense, and they are going to be coming back in with Pelipper, and we're just barely not able to get to the Psychic Fangs, and now things are not looking good for us at all. All we have left is Magcargo. Magcargo going to be taking double super effective damage from this Weather Ball, and it's going to do an absolute massive chunk of damage. They switch into a Registeel, so maybe we've got a slither of hope. We're forced to go for an Overheat here. This will lower my attack, but it doesn't KO. I'm able to Incinerate, farm them down. I get to a Rock Tomb. Is this going to be enough to take out the Pelipper debuffed? Yes, it is, and we're able to take that game. So that was probably like one of the craziest battles I've ever had. I don't know how I was able to win that game, but GG's to that opponent. Really unfortunate to lose that game because it was so close. And into the next game, we lead into a Swampert. They switch into Ferrothorn, and we've got perfect alignment here because we have the Magcargo here. We're going to go for a Rock Tomb once again. Don't expect them to shield, but that is fine because I'm going to be able to farm them down now, and they don't even get to a charge move, so that's perfect. I'm going to go for a Rock Tomb here. To be honest, I should really go for the Incinerate. The Overheat, sorry, because it just gives them more farm on the Swampert, and they're probably going to switch out anyway, and they do. They switch into Registeel. Things are still looking fine because we can win this in the 2-shield scenario. I'm going to shield up the Zap Cannon, go for a Crunch here as it is neutral damage, but unfortunately because they lowered my attack, I'm going to be forced to throw another charge move into this Registeel, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw the Crunch straight away, not messing around. There's no point trying to be intricate about this. I'm going to force this Swampert to throw straight away as well, and that is perfect. That's exactly what I want. I can no shield this. Even an Earthquake isn't going to take me out. Earthquake lands, it does a lot of damage, but I'm going to be able to Bullet Seed farm them down here. So I'm going to shield this up and go for the Bullet Seed farm down. No, I'm an idiot. For some reason I thought they only had one shield remaining. I saw that I was up back-to-back Grass Knots, but fortunately I'm still able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. I nearly threw it there, and if they were just one mud shot more on the Swampert, then we would have lost. But fortunately, I'm able to take that game. Into the next game, we led into a Ferrothorn. They switch into a Jellicent, and this is why I'm running Crunch. Crunch is going to do a lot of super effective damage against the Jellicent here. And I'm hoping that they go for a Bubble Beam because I can tank it. And now I'm able to get to another Crunch. Going to be forcing a shield from this Jellicent or taking Switch Advantage. We get the shield here, although really I would have preferred Switch Advantage. But we will see how things go. They go for another Bubble Beam. That takes me out. And my opponent is farming up a lot of energy. So I'm going to shield this up, assuming it's probably a Shadow Ball. Which it is. And now I'm going to commit to a full Bullet Seed farm down. I have 100 energy. Going to instantly switch into the Magcargo here. And they come in with the Ferrothorn. We do get one Incinerate on the Magcargo, so that is ideal, but they come in with a Whiscash, so things are not looking great for us. This is not the alignment we want, and unfortunately this Whiscash is going to be easily able to take out the Magcargo here. Mud Bomb comes through, takes us out. I get to the Grass Knot here. They don't throw straight away, which is perfect. And my opponent actually shields that up, so I'm going to go for another Grass Knot. And maybe this is smart by my opponent, forcing me to throw all of my energy into the Whiscash. The Ferrothorn comes back in, goes for a Power Whip. That does a decent chunk. We're not going to be able to survive another Power Whip, so I am going to shield this up. Remember, we do have Bulldoze, which is going to be neutral here, although Bulldoze isn't the best move, and as well, both these Pokemon are fairly tanky. We get to a Grass Knot. This is double resisted. Is this going to be enough to take out the Ferrothorn? No, they just barely survive with 1 HP and they're able to take me out with a Power Whip. So GG's to that opponent. Super close game. I'm sure their heart was in their mouth as well. And we had the weird glitch here where the game doesn't even acknowledge that it was a thing. So if we did win that matchup, we would have got credited with a loss anyway. So doesn't really matter. So we lose that game, unfortunate. But into the next set, we go into an Escavalier. They come in with a Pelipper, and now this is not enough for a Stone Edge, so I don't think they'll shield, but they do shield anyway, and that is unfortunate. There's no way I can flip switch advantage now, so I'm going to let my Lycanroc go down. And things are not looking great for us, but I can no shield against the Pelipper here. Go for a Grass Knot, and that should do a lot of damage and put it into Bullet Seed farm down range, which it does, but unfortunately they're just barely able to get to another charge move. I'm going to let it go through because the Cradily doesn't have much play against the Escavalier, and they have a Registeel in the back, so things are looking a lot better now. And as well, they throw straight away, so I'm able to get the Incinerate through. They go for a Zap Cannon, so I know that this Overheat isn't going to be enough to take them out. And it just barely doesn't. I get an extra Incinerate and they switch into the Escavalier. I'm going for a Rock Tomb here, expecting another shield. And I'm able to get it. And my opponent looks like they're going for the back-to-back charge moves, but they're not able to get to the double drill runs. So I'm able to Overheat, take out this Escavalier, and then Incinerate, farm down the Registeel there. So very fortunate for me that they had a double steel team, but opponents are not expecting fire types in this meta, so that really works out in my favour. Unfortunately, met with a Skarmory in the lead. I go for the Psychic Fangs straight away. My opponent lets it go through, but unfortunately they deny my fast move here, and that is not going to allow me to flip switch advantage here against this Whiscash. We did deny there as well, but they're able to get to the back-to-back Mud Bombs here, and as well they do deny. So unfortunately not a lot I can do here, so I'm going to come in with the Cradily, farm them down with the Bullet Seeds, and we're able to take them out before they get to a Mud Bomb, so that is cool. We come in with the Magcargo, and unfortunately they have a Waterfall Gyarados, so yeah, not the most ideal situation ever. If we did get that shield because we didn't get denied twice, then maybe we could have won this game, but probably not. Unfortunately, my opponent just had the superior team composition and we lose that game, so GG's to them. Into the next game, we lead into a Jellicent, a very good lead for us, and they're not switching out, so I'm anticipating that perhaps they have another water type in the back. So I'm actually going to shield this up, anticipating that they probably just throw the Shadow Ball straight away, and that's exactly what they do. This is just going to be a Bubble Beam, so I can no shield this and commit to a full Bullet Seed farm down, and I even have a Bulldoze loaded. They come in with a Skarmory. I switch into the Lycanroc, and this is a similar matchup as before, except this time I've already taken out their first Pokemon, so alignment doesn't really matter. I've already got the perfect alignment. I can let Lycanroc go down here to the Mud Bomb, come in with the Cradily, and we should be in a very good position here. I'm going to come in, overfarm by one Bullet Seed. They go for a Mud Bomb. We can tank that comfortably. I'm going to go for the Grass Knot here, and this will easily take out the Whiscash. And they actually showed it up, and then they catch the second Grass Knot on the Skarmory. So an insane catch by my opponent. Really well played, but it's not going to be able to win this matchup for them because I've got a Magcargo, an absolute wall to Skarmory. Once again, going for the Rock Tomb. I don't have to be fancy here and undercharge at all. There's no need for that. I can fully farm them down with the Incinerates here, and I'm actually going to be able to force them to throw their energy because I would get to a charge move. And at this point it's game over. I can comfortably Bullet Seed, farm down this Whiscash, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Unfortunately, not a lot they could have done whatsoever, but they did make a very nice catch. Into the next game, we led into a Politoed, and this is the first Lucario that I'm seeing. Very surprised that there weren't many Lucarios, but I guess everyone's running like double Lucario counters on their teams, so maybe it doesn't have as much play as it was expected to have, and we're just barely able to get to the simultaneous KO from the counters there. I see them come in with a Cradily, so I'm going to come in with the Magcargo and now have alignment. Things are working out perfectly. Going to shield up a Grass Knot bait, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to bait myself, go for a Rock Tomb here, and we get a shield. My opponent switches into the Politoed, and now I'm going to be able to get to the Grass Knot before they can throw anything meaningful. And this Grass Knot is going to take out the Politoed, and now things should be good for me. They get to a Grass Knot here. That's not going to take me out, but another one should be able to take me out. So I'm going to go for a Grass Knot of my own. And my opponent is going to need to overfarm perfectly here. And they're able to, and they also win CMP. So perfect play by my opponent. But I'm going to be able to get to one Incinerate, and I'm just barely able to take them out before they get to a charge move. So GG's to that opponent. Really close game. They made it very close, but I'm able to take that game. And into the final battle, we also lead into another Politoed. This time they're not Shadow, they are a regular Politoed. They go for the Weather Ball, and I'm going to go for a Grass Knot. Once again, my opponent catches the Grass Knot onto a Steel type. This time it's Registeel. I'm going to come in with the Magcargo here because it absolutely does not want to see Politoed, and I can get to the Overheat here before they get to a charge move, and I don't expect them to shield either. So boom, we take out the Registeel, and that is perfect. They're going to throw a Weather Ball straight away, and it doesn't quite take me out, and that is really ideal for my opponent. Either that or they undercharge perfectly there, so either way, very good for my opponent. Going to get to a Grass Knot here. They're not able to catch it this time, so that is good. And they do shield up, so maybe they've got another Water type in the pack. I'm hoping that a 2-shielded Lycanroc can still take this game anyway. So I no shield here, and I'm able to get to another Grass Knot. Will I get the final shield? I do, so now I'm going to switch into the Lycanroc, and they get to a charge move here. Hopefully they do not get to another charge move, but they're able to. Oh my god, that is not great for me, but also I think they did deny me there, so I'm going to overfarm as much as possible, go for the Psychic Fangs here, and I don't think there's much hope for me in the back because they do have a Water type. It's a Lantern, so things are not looking great for me. Going to go for a Psychic Fangs here. Really, I need to catch a charge move if possible, so I'm going to stall out the clock, go for another Psychic Fangs here, and then wait a split second, and then switch and catch the move on the Cradily. Is this a Hydro Pump? Yes it is, it's the perfect catch, and we're able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent, really well played. They made an awesome catch, but I'm able to combat it with my own awesome catch, and I went 4-1 once again, and yeah, GG's to all of my opponents there. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, then make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day because I'm very much looking forward to reading some of the funny experiences you've had in GBL where the game has not worked the way it's meant to. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, then make sure you hit that subscribe button because I am going to be making a lot more PvP content, assuming the game does improve slightly from the way it's been the last couple of days. But yeah, that's certainly my intention, is to make a lot more GBL content. So if you're interested in that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous GBL video. So firstly, we're going to be shouting out Raghav Gupta, who mentions Berserker was really underrated. And there are a lot of content creators that claim it's really good, but they don't ever use it. Until recently, where we've seen both Homeslice Henry and Zionic make videos on it. As well, Daniel Zaneri has Berserker as like his signature Pokemon in his signature heavy damage team. but otherwise you don't see it very often at all, so I definitely think it is underrated and underrepresented in the meta. Secondly, we've got No, who suggests Surfetch, but specifically with Night Slash and Brave Bird as the combination of moves. And he says that Swamperts and other water types shield anyways, expecting a Leaf Blade, and you can even get 2 shields because they think you probably just baited the first time round. And also, because you've revealed Night Slash, almost no one is going to be shielding a Brave Bird, which I think is a really deadly combination and going to be playing a lot of mind games on your opponents. But just in general, I think Surfetch, even with the typical moveset, is extremely underrepresented in the meta. I wouldn't say it's underrated because everyone knows how strong it is, but you just don't see it very often, which is pretty surprising. And finally, I'm going to be shouting out Ethan Groff, who mentions Pangoro as an extremely underrated Pokemon because it has a lot of good matchups against the meta, like Trevenant, Walrein, Registeel, Giratina, Cresselia, and even more than that. And also, if you can get a Night Slash boost, then you can go on an absolute rampage with Pangoro. It is extremely deadly as long as you can avoid the fairy types and fighting types. But yeah, I think he is right. Pangoro, extremely good. You hardly ever see it, and recently I just built my own Ultra League Pangoro, and I will be making a video on it in the future. I was aiming to get it out when the Ultra League comes back around next time, but if the game continues to be this rubbish, I might just be forced to upload it later on in the week because I probably won't do too many other battles if the game constantly freezes and hands out losses when you actually win. Then yeah, I probably just won't play that much. But yeah, Pangoro, extremely underrated and very much underrepresented in the meta, so a very good answer there. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.